So in my school you had to wait in the cafeteria before school, and this bitch named Rebecca would always be asking people who their crush is in the cafeteria and say she would tell no one and tell your crush and afterwards tell everyone else. So as soon as I came into the lunchroom she came up to me and said Alex had a crush on me, and I said I don't like him back because his lips are dry like the Sahara Desert, even though I liked him. One day me and my friend had a sleepover and my friend had to shit got all on my bed, so I fucked that big thup and she never came back again.
I once dated this guy that I'll call Calvin. So me and Calvin had been dating for about 3 months. And it was serious. His house was basically my second home. But that's not the point. So I've never had a problem with him having girls as friends. But it was this one girl who would get really touchy, who I will call Layla. So me and Layla had a conversation where I basically told her to back the fuck off. And that's when she told me that her and Calvin have been doing the nasty. And I was like, bitch, and slapped the dog shit out that bitch. So after that I broke up with Calvin, and him and Layla got together. I was heartbroken. But then I got my shit together, pulled up to his house, and saw Layla. We ended up doing the dirty and Calvin walked in. He kicked us out, and to this day me and Layla do the nasty from time to time.
So I woke up at 8 for school and was about to go to the bathroom, but when I stood up my stomach hurt, so I laid back in bed and continued with my Zoom calls. My stomach still hurt, but sometimes it hurts in the morning. I don't even know why. So my second block teacher didn't show up, so I took a nap and set my alarm for when my next class would start. I woke up and felt better, so I just joined my next class, but my stomach really said psych. It started hurting again and I was freaking out because this time it was worse, but I was still in my Zoom call, so I was like, I knew I was about to throw up. I texted my mom that my stomach hurt, knowing she would come in my room. Then as I was sitting there on the Zoom call, a little bit of throw up shot out of my mouth onto my sweatpants, so I quickly left the call. Because you were not about to catch me lacking on Zoom like those other stories you be hearing about. So as soon as I left the call I literally threw up all over my floor, and my mom came in and was looking at me, but I only threw up twice, so she started cleaning it up, and she has a weak stomach and almost threw up from looking at my throw up, but it was all clean and I felt fine after that. I was low-key scared I was pregnant because like morning sickness, but I didn't throw up after that, so no kid, ha 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 ha. We were having a family reunion and all my cousins from my mom's side were there, and while all our aunts and uncles were getting drunk, my cousins and I snuck out with some eggs because we were bored and decided to go egg housing, which is when someone throws eggs at houses. Us being little dumbasses decided to do it in our neighborhood. Rookie move. It was night and no one was out, so we didn't think we would get caught, but then this guy in a car pulled up to his driveway and for some reason my cousin decided to throw an egg at his car, so she threw it and it all went bad from there. He started chasing us with his car and for some reason we thought we could outrun the car instead of hiding, and since we were so stupid we ran back to our parents and he was right behind us. He told our parents what we did and we all got in trouble, crying cat face. So in 5th grade there was this girl in my class that I sat next to and no one liked her for some reason, and she had no friends. Okay, so in 5th grade there was this girl in my class that I sat next to and no one liked her for some reason, and she had no friends. Even the teacher hated her, but she was really nice, just not very interesting. Anyway, one day she came into class and everything was normal, and then out of nowhere the whole classroom started to smell like shit, and I mean diarrhea, stanky ass, pass gas gone wrong type shit. So throughout the day my whole class was trying to find out who had shit there fucking pants. Eventually everyone came to the conclusion that it was her. Everyone knew, even the teacher, but no one said it straight to her face. I felt so bad, but all my friends were making fun of her, so I did too. I feel so guilty to this day for making fun of her. She was named DJ Poopy Pant for the rest of the year, but again no one said it to her face. Monkey covering eyes, smirking cat face, new moon with face. P.S. I can confirm it was her. BC I sat right next. Fellas, you think your love life is complicated? Hahaha. 1 year ago I liked a guy that was kinda popular. He was nasty around his girlfriends but not me because he respected me and he was filled with pure kindness whenever he was around me. I had told all my crew that I liked him and they approved. But this one roach started to hang out with him more and more after she knew him a bit. She started flirting with him and stuff while I was around, and I could tell that he was uncomfortable. She claimed they were only besties, but one day she told the whole group that she liked him and they were like, "Aw, you'd make a good couple," like the terrible friends they were, and I was just listening like women standing. She then asked him out and he rejected her. Needless to say, I am still his favorite and she still hits on him. Oh, and I changed my friend group, so don't worry. When I was 12 my 5 friend and one went out for breakfast and we badly wanted to get drunk for the first time, so this stupid bitch suggested we take an hour bus to her house cause she had whiskey. Before you know it we demolished 3 bottles of whiskey and started to vomit all over the house and each other. We all had to shower together and our drunk asses put photos on our Snapchat stories of us in the shower together. We ended up passing out naked on the bathroom floor and my dumb ass forgot I had my older sister on Snap who told our fucking parents and they all drove an hour to get us. When they got to my friend's house they all saw us passed butt naked on the bathroom floor. By this time, so basically I had these new group of friends, the new popular kids. Basically I don't wanna say the names, so let's just call them Elijah, Samuel, Samantha, and my crush named Williams. So one day, it was probably like 15, I was in this group called the Pittix group. I got along very well with this guy named Williams. He was so nice and kind and he was hot, low-key hot, but I liked him for his personality. But anyways, Williams was in that group, and since my mom told me to always tell secrets, I decided to tell Samantha that I had a crush on Williams. Samantha, she was also in the Pittix group. I told her to meet me in the bathroom, and when she got there I told her about my little crush on Williams. She was like, oh that's great, but she was faking to say it. The next day one of the other member in the Pittix group said that Samantha was planning to fake liking Williams for his money since he was rich too. When I tell you I got mad at that bitch, I was ready to throw hands, but when I go to recess there that bitch was sitting with Williams. I tried to keep my nerves down because when I tell you I was losing it, I looked like I needed to go to a medical center. But anyways, I go up to them and say hi, what's up, and then that I was in the 3rd grade and my friend was having a party and she asked me if I want to come, so I said yes. Then it came time to go to the party, so my mom dropped me off and I went in her party and it was all girls, so I walked in and sat my bags down. Then after the adults went upstairs and we started play fighting and it was my turn and me and this girl started fight. Then that gorilla looking bitch hit me too hard, so I stopped and told her that she hit me too hard and she said that I was just being a baby, so I gave her this 2-piece with a side of fries and a large Sprite. Then she had then everyone was pulling me off of her, and when then did she had a broken nose and her lip was bleeding, so they capped my mom and I had to go home, and now I can't go to none of her parties anymore. So in 2nd grade I had a friend, let's call her Krusty Fat Granny Undies. She would always try and be best than me, but this stanky fishy could never be better than the queen herself. I don't really know how it happens, but I got a boyfriend, and if we're being honest, he was the hottest boy in the class. Smirking face. Now me, him, and Krusty Fat Granny Undies were in the same class and it was picture day, so we had to sit by people, but this year the teacher chose who we sat by, and this mother freaking teacher chose me to sit by the wired kid and my friend and boyfriend sat together. Now I was spying on them of course, and you'll never believe what the fat crusty hoe ass looking alien head did. She gave him her necklace and he hugged her like, no bitch, you're gonna die tonight, kissing face with smiling eyes. So I made a plan, and the next day I brought my handy dandy safety scissors and brought them to the playground. I told her to go to see secret spot. It was on the top of the slide, but still, I couldn't stand look. My little sister hated peas and she would always take my lunch whenever I didn't call her princess, so for her lunch I made a PB&J the night before and I put snap peas in them and somehow fit regular peas into her oranges and squeezed some of that ugly pea juice. I then put them in there and packed it up all pretty and called her rat for that morning. She took my lunch as usual when I didn't call her princess, and she then ate it and she came home and she had food poisoning. Turns out my brother was trying to pull a prank on her because he knew that I was going to do this because I told him, and he spit on all of the snap peas and regular peas and then put them in dirt and finally in Vaseline to make them shine so that I wouldn't notice. So when my little sister came home she had food poisoning, but my mom didn't know she took my lunch, so when she yelled at me and said, "Oh my God, why did you put those peas in your lunch? You know I hate peas and that I take your lunch." My mom heard it, and as punishment the next day she made her go to school. Well, the rest of us got to stay home and have a chill day while she literally was throwing up in class. And my mom Okay, this shit better be anonymous. I have never told anyone this, but in 2nd grade my parents made me become friends with this girl who moved in behind me. She has TikTok, so let's call her Bitch Cross-eyed grinning face with stuck out tongue. At first I did not wanna be friends with bitch, but then I became besties with her. One day we went in her room and her brother bought her a new computer. By the way, he is a lot older than us, and somehow she knew what Smex was and I did not, and she searched PRN pictures and she looked at them. By the way, we did not do anything, and that is how I learned what Smex is. Grinning face. When I was in 2nd grade I had this male teacher with long hair. One time he was very mad at the class and gave like a speech and told everybody to like be respectful, and I said yes ma'am because I didn't know the difference between yes sir and yes ma'am because I was pretty stupid, and he took it really personally and locked me outside in the hall for 2 hours. And since it was Friday my therapist came and I told her about it because I was so confused, and then she told me the difference between yes ma'am and yes sir, and she talked to my teacher because my male teacher didn't know that I had ADHD and didn't understand stuff very well. Once I was on a school trip and we went to a golf course after lunch. We heard screaming and found out that one of my classmates got hit really hard with a club on top of his eye. The teacher called an ambulance and a few minutes later, a teacher told me that one of my friends was so stressed out about the situation so she fainted. I ran to her and sat next to her for an hour and she ended up being sent home and the kid obviously went to the hospital.